Hey there, guys. Today I'm going to be starting a mini series playing all the teams that I had in fantasy baseball this year. So I like to play fantasy baseball. This year I had six teams. One of them was absolutely horrible. Three of them were pretty good, and no, two of them were pretty good, and I won the championship with three of them. So today I'm going to be doing the team that I won the championship with. Next time I'll be doing one of the ones that I was good with, then I'll do the one I was horrible with, then I'll do the other one I was good with, and then I'll do my two other championship teams in the order of how good they were. So this was my worst championship team. Basically, I force traded for all the players on my fantasy team and gave the other team the approximate equivalent player on the Diamondbacks who uh, to the player I was getting from them. So I am also forcing all my players to be at the position that I had them at on my team, regardless of whether they're best suited for somewhere else. For example, Carlos Carrasco was relief pitcher eligible this year, so I got him in every team as a reliever, or at least most of my teams. And I will be using him as a closer because that's the position he was on my team, even though he is much better suited as a starting pitcher. And I am also using Ketel Marte at center field, even though I could totally put him at second base over Jake Cronenworth, who sucks in OOTP, and then put like Jeff McNeil or Ramon Laureano in the lineup instead of Cronenworth. So yeah, this is what I'm rolling with. I'm also for the backups putting them at the position that they actually did back up on my fantasy team. So for example, if Carlos Santana got hurt on this team, then Travis d'Arnaud would have been my first baseman for a little bit. Actually, I would have picked somebody up off waivers, but for all intents and purposes, because waivers are not an option here. And Mitch Garver got hurt, and Travis d'Arnaud was my starting catcher. And Jeff McNeil backed up these positions. Marcus Semien backed these up. Laureano backed those up. As for the pitchers, obviously I couldn't fill in everybody, so I dropped Hector Neris and Brandon Workman at different points throughout the year. So I picked them up anyways, even though they weren't on my final team. And I filled in the rest of the spots with in-the-house Diamondbacks options who are not major league caliber just because essentially I'm filling in with replacement level options. So Brandon Workman, Stefan Crichton, Emilio Vargas, Joel Payampas, and Taylor Clark were not on my fantasy team, but they will be rounding this team out because they are the replacement options. Now, I got really lucky with some of my starting pitching. Trevor Bauer, Zach Gallen, Sonny Gray, Brandon Woodruff, and Herman Marquez were my starting pitchers. Marquez is the only one that I didn't really hit on. Sonny Gray was the next worst. Obviously, Woodruff, Gallen, and Bauer all had excellent years, especially Bauer. Carlos Carrasco was an absolutely amazing relief pitcher option for me. Martin Melanson was a really solid one as well. Hector Neris and Brandon Workman, obviously, I dropped him for a reason. And Mitch Garver didn't really work out. Carlos Santana was okay. Cronenworth was a great waiver pickup. Anthony Rendon, he worked out all right. He wasn't ideal. Correa was good, but not great. Simeon was horrible. Cano was good. McNeil was on my bench the whole year, so he didn't matter. Soto was obviously phenomenal. Marte was bad. Laureano was okay, and Seager was absolutely outstanding pickup. Like, I think I only had him in one or two leagues, but he carried my leagues to championships. So, this is the team that I have got. And I will just go ahead and go through the season now, and we'll see how they do. Obviously, since you don't do a 30 team, none of these leagues were 30 teams. They were mostly 10 and 12 teams. I think I had one 15 team. So the quality of my team is much higher than it should be um, relative to the rest of the league, but it's still not overwhelmingly strong because obviously, you're picking mostly from the starting players, not from the bench players, and it's not like the other teams aren't going to have starting players. How is Nate Pearson the number one overall prospect? I've never seen that before. Wander Franco is the number three prospect in this league. That is new to me. Alright, anyways, since nothing really matters outside of, this stuff, I'm going to be disabling trades. I'll actually go do that now. Actually, no, I'll leave trades on. I just won't be making any. I will not be making any changes to this team. I will disable injuries. Let me go do that. Alright, there we go. So injuries are off. So now let's just see how this team plays out. Oh, right. Before we get too far into the year, I'll go over the meet the team thing. So Rendon, Correa, and Soto will be top notch. Our rotation is very, very good. The bullpen's trash, and the rest of our starters aren't bad except Cronenworth, who is trash. So we've got some pretty interesting pieces here, and hopefully we can get a good season. Set Kana as my right fielder since that's where he is. They still think Laureano is better, and he probably is, but Kanho was my starter, not Laureano. And then we dropped 3 straight. That is not the best stretch. Wow, Gallen was pitcher of the month. In my opinion, he's our 3rd best pitcher. Ooh, Alek Thomas improved. Too bad this sim isn't going out any further. What? It wasn't Jake Cronenworth? Are you kidding me? With his 188 batting average and single home run over the month and negative .2 WAR? Wow, Zach Gallen was really good. Carlos Correa was our WAR leader for the first month. Mitch Garver's on our WAR leaderboards. Surprised by that. I didn't think he was going to be that good. Anywhere near that good, actually. And of course, the Dodgers are still better than any fantasy team. Mostly because they're, or partially because they're overrated in OOTP, and partially because the Dodgers have, in real life, multiple first round quality players, several second round quality players, a couple of mid tier players, and stuff like that. I mean, they're just. If you could have an entire team of Dodgers, that would be great. So, of course, this team is, it's doing pretty well. Yeah, sorry, Marcus Semien. You deserve to be starting. I would start Semien at shortstop on this team, I think, if I could. I would definitely be starting him at second base at the worst. Somehow this team is in 3rd place. I mean, I'm sure it's partially the bullpen's fault, but yeah. Hey, look, Cronenworth's improving. Woohoo. Negative .1 WAR. He's upped himself by 1.1 WAR, I mean. Juan Soto's improving. Dominic Fletcher is improving. Things that don't matter to the purpose of this team. German Marquez is now number 1 in WAR. Too bad he didn't do that for my fantasy team. Hey, look at Ketel Marte go. Too bad he didn't do that either. I will be auto drafting since none of the draft players are going to affect the single year of this sim that I'm going to do. So at the point of the draft, we are in 3rd place at 33 and 29, 12 and a half back of the Dodgers. And I have no idea how on earth the Padres are beating us. This is not a team that should be capable of beating any fantasy team. I mean, the bullpen obviously sucks, but the top of the bullpen's not bad. Oh, jeez, Carlos Carrasco has been terrible as the closer. Yeah, he's not doing well. Melanson and Neris are not great either, and Crichton is bad. I mean, I guess I should put Workman to use more often so that I actually get my players on my team in more. The entire rotation has an ERA in the 4 range. I mean, our offense is carrying us right now. You know, let's just import the draft results. It doesn't matter. And it's faster than simming the draft. In future versions, I might make the bullpen a little bit less terrible. I might just make it an average relief corps behind my top guys because this team is just not doing well. Okay, who sucks the most in the bullpen? Probably Crichton, right? He's actually been okay. Alright, bye-bye, Pyampus. Silvino Bracho, you can be a middle reliever. Too bad, man, too bad. You were my starter for most of the year, but Mitch Garver's my primary starter, so speaking of fantasy baseball, I will probably be doing an episode at the end, or on the last episode, I will actually discuss fantasy baseball and my strategies towards it since I am doing all of this in the first place. Alright, bye bye. Nobody cares. You are irrelevant. We're not even in a wild card spot right now somehow. Brandon Woodruff is being charitable. How are we not even in a wild card spot? Carlos Correa is dominant. Juan Soto is good. Randon is good. Marquez, Barr, and Gallen are all good. The bullpen shouldn't be this bad. We're a game and a half out of a wild card spot somehow. I won't even bother signing anybody. Yeah, this team was pretty interesting to work with. This was probably one of my lower maintenance teams, actually. I didn't have too many injuries. Well, I mean, obviously I had injuries, but I didn't have any too many core injuries, and I didn't have to change up my pitching very much. This was a points league team, so obviously that's why I had Carrasco as a reliever, not as a starter. Well, we're starting to look a little bit better. We are now in the first wild card spot. I'm just kind of curious what kind of extension Woodruff would want right now. Yeah, it's not a terrible extension, but it's not the best extension either. Yeah, I don't think there's any way we're chasing down the Dodgers in the NL West. They are just winning way too many games. I don't really understand how it's possible for the Dodgers to be that good. So Sano wins the home run derby and then wins the All-Star Game MVP. That is crazy. He's also hitting at an unrealistically high average. He's not hitting nearly enough home runs to be, well, I mean, I guess it's close, but how did our guys do? Who even made it from our team? Doesn't look like we had any pitchers, I mean hitters. We didn't have anybody in the All-Star game. Who was my first round draft pick? I don't even remember. It must have been Soto or Rendon. Well, we're starting to pull ahead in the wild card running at least. Can the people please tell me exactly why they expect the Dodgers to play 650 baseball or better? I mean 680 baseball. Hey, look up Juan Soto. Why is Gavin Lux the greatest player in the history of the game? I don't understand it. Robbie Ray has been very, very good. Well, the team looks like it's about to play somewhere between 560 and 580 for the whole year. And keep in mind that I didn't even touch my financials, so this is with the default player development budget that all of these random prospect breakouts are happening. Wow, Juan Soto is actually starting to play at Juan Soto level. German Marquez, ironically, is my best pitcher. You wouldn't think that would be the case, considering how terrible he was on my fantasy team. Alright, let's see exactly what playoff seed we end up in. Yeah, the Dodgers are never going to win 115 games. Hate to break it to you Dodgers fans, but that is just not possible. So we finished 92 and 70, which wasn't too bad. That's not a terrible record. That's actually not as good as the 2017 Diamondbacks, which is pretty ironic, but our team was good enough to make the playoffs against Major League competition with this trash bullpen where the best ERA outside of Silvino Bracho, who came up midseason and only threw 30 innings, was a 3.99 or no, 3.86 by Taylor Clark. So if we had a good bullpen, which I will make the bullpen competent in future versions, we probably could have done significantly better. By OPS Plus, our starters were all really good except Carlos Santana, Mark Canha, and ooh, yeesh, Mitch Garver really came down to earth. But yeah, I guess this is about right. So yeah, I mean, I guess we can go on to the playoffs now and see how things go. So I will, of course, manually be playing the wild card game. Because, of course, this stream has gone by really quickly, so I will play the deciding game in every playoff round. And we actually are a better team than the Reds. So hopefully we don't blow this one. Alright, let's see if we can get a win here. Oh, and remember, it's the playoffs, so I will be able to use starting pitchers in the relief. So I believe my number 5 starter was Marquez, so he is a reliever now. Let me check here. Yeah, Herman Marquez was indeed... No, it was Brandon Woodruff. Yeah, okay, so Brandon Woodruff or Herman Marquez, I think Woodruff, will become a reliever for the postseason. Zach Gallen getting 2 strikeouts to start the game. There's another 3 strikeouts. Strike out the side. Alright, let's see if my legendary offense can't get something going. And Ketel Marte starts it off with a double to center field. And Corey Seager is going to launch one, but that's right at the right fielder. Oh, Juan Soto. Nice. Ketel Marte will score on that one. Well, at least Soto advanced. Ooh, strikeout for Rendon. That's rough. Oh, walk by Gallen. And that is going to be a fly out to the right fielder. Yeah, our defense isn't the best here. Everybody is about average. Wow, Jesse Winker really became something here. That is going to be a potential double play. Nope. Cronenworth can't turn it. And that is a walk. Sweet. Santana did that a lot this year. Why is Freddie Galvis their short? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're the Reds. Oh, that's a nice hit by Garver. And here is the death of the lineup, Jake Cronenworth, who might actually get out an infield single. What a miracle. Ketel Marte led off the game with the double. And that is at least going to drive in a run. And it will drive in a run. Runners on the corners with 2 outs now for Seager. And that's going to drive in another one. 3-0 lead. And that's going to be a double down the line for Juan Soto. That'll drive in at least one more run. Here comes Cronenworth, and he is going to score. And we have a huge lead now. And Rendon will end yet another inning. But we score 4 to take a massive lead here. Well, at least Cronenworth managed to make a play there. And that'll be a ground out to end the inning. And it looks like Carlos Santana will draw yet another walk. Carlos Santana definitely helped me out in the points leagues by doing that so much. Strikeout by Garver, and now we got Cronenworth. And Cronenworth is 2 for 2 in this game. And that is going to drive in a run. Cronenworth has definitely been surprisingly good here. Ketel Marte is going to ground. Oh, no, they can't turn the double play. Can Corey Seager drive in more runs? And he can. That's going to be a single into center for another run. And we extend our lead to 7 runs. And that'll end the inning by Soto. But we tack on 2 more. And that could be a potential double play. Cronenworth can't turn it. Even as slow as Castellanos was, Cronenworth still couldn't do it. That's a strikeout. There we go. And that is going to be a ground out to end the inning. Don't know why they brought in a lefty to face Carlos Correa, but I'll take it. Double down the line. We have 7 runs, and we do not yet have a home run. Maybe Rendon will change that. Nope, but that is a single. Oh no, that's not a single. Galvis somehow got it. Wait, Carlos Santana's better against righties? Oh, but he manages to get a single anyway. Yeah, let's play it safe here. We've got more batters in this inning. And that could potentially drive in the run. And it will do so. And that looks like an inning down. Oh, nope. Yeah, that's because we're already 2 outs. Okay, that makes sense. Dangerous Jesse Winker up to bat. And he will ground out to Cronenworth. And there's another ground out to Cronenworth. Oh, but it's bobbled. And he's going to get all the way to second base. Great. Way to blow up a routine out, Cronenworth. Strikeout. And can Gallen get another one? And he strikes him out to end the inning. Gallen has a no-hitter through 5. He's allowed 2 hits, I believe, and a walk. Or no, 2 walks and an error, but that's it. Two groundouts to start the inning. Corey Seager belts one down the right field line. That's a double. That is shot deep to center field by Soto, but that's going to get caught. There's a strikeout by Gallen. And there's another ground out to Cronenworth. Gallen's pitch count's starting to get up there, though. Strikeout of Castellanos. And Gallen has a no-hitter through 6 innings in this wild card game. We honestly don't care what happens now because we got an 8-0 lead. Zach Gallen is definitely the story of this game right now. And Carlos Santana draws another walk. That's got to be like his 4th for the game. And that'll end the inning. And here is Zach Gallen once again. Can he keep it going? That is a strikeout of Suarez. He's got 9 on the game. And that is a walk to Moustakas. Does not break up the no-hitter, however. Strikeout of Winker. He's got 10. And that is going to break up the no-hitter, guys. Gallen's lost the no-hitter. And this was going to be his last inning now. And Galvis strikes out to end the inning. 11 strikeouts for Zach Gallen. And I will get up Stefan Crichton to conclude this game. Lock for Garver. Cronenworth's starting to look more like himself now. And Ketel Marte will ground into a double play to end the inning. You know what? It's the number 9 hitter. I'll let Gallen have one more batter. And that is going to be a weak fly out or pop up for Gallen, who will have recorded a large portion of the game's outs. And Stefan Crichton will come in to finish up the game. And that's a nice little flyout to start the game for Crichton. And there's another flyout for Votto to end the inning. All right, well, it looks like this one's pretty much over. We're 3 outs away from our wild card victory. Ground out by Soto. And that is a squib shot by Correa. That'll end it. All right, Crichton is 3 outs away from getting us onto the division series. And that is a ground out by Castellanos. He will beat it out for an infield single. Are you kidding me? And that is another single by Suarez. You know what? Just in case, I'm going to get Neris up. And that is a strikeout. Oh, and that's belted down the right field line. That's going to score 2 runs in all likelihood and get Winker onto second. Oh, nope, that's only going to score 1. All right, if Crichton allows 1 more base runner, he's done. And Akiyama will ground out. And that will end the game on a phenomenal catch by Ketel Marte. We will advance to the division series. All right, that was not a bad win. That was not a bad win. Great job by Gallen, for sure. All right, let's cut this down to a 4-man rotation, and I think Brandon Woodruff is going to be in the bullpen for this one. All right, well, let's see how we can do in the champion or division series. I believe this is going to be a rematch against the Dodgers. Well, from the Diamondback standpoint at least. It's not like I've ever played the Dodgers with my fantasy team. And we lost 3-12 in our first game. That's a rough one. And we lost 1-12. So we are getting absolutely cremated. You know, I'm just going to let us lose this game. I'm not going to bother controlling it. And we have been swept by the Dodgers out of the playoffs, and our fantasy team is not good enough to continue. So that is going to, let's just see who the World Series champion is just for the kicks of it. We know it's going to be the Dodgers, though, because they are overrated. I mean, the Dodgers are a good team, don't get me wrong, but they are not a distant first team in baseball. People say obviously they're the best team in baseball, but I would make an argument that the Braves are at least close to them in terms of overall talent. The Rays don't have the talent of the Dodgers, but they have the intelligence to play better baseball than them. The Astros are an extremely talented team. The Twins are an extremely talented team. And yet the Dodgers have so much more talent at the start of OTP than every other team, and they are rated so well by everybody. So, um, where's the league homepage? Here we go. So, yeah, the Dodgers swept the Twins in the World Series, as everybody knew they would, and that was that. So, I will see you guys on the next one where we will play with my next team and hopefully get a little bit more success.